spirit started taking over my body.
It was like we performed a ritual, to be completely honest, like a sacred ritual. This is a beautiful ritual. Spirit was controlling me, spirit was controlling you, spirit was controlling her, and we all had different parts in this. Honestly, it felt like a ceremony.
Hey, Kel Kats, welcome back to another episode of InTALKxicated. I'm your host, Kelsi Davies, and I'm here with a very special guest. We got Brittany Bento. She is in another country joining us via Zoom. This is my first time doing a Zoom podcast chat, so you're the first one, Brittany. Woo!
I'm honored.
Yay!
I'm honored. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited to, dive into whatever we're getting into today.
I'm excited to talk about what we're diving into. I'm just like, me and Brittany, we met on TikTok. So Brittany does social media. She's a psychic medium. She does a lot of awesome, enlightening videos where you can just learn a lot about spirituality and about life. And I don't know, it's really, really cool what you do. Is there anything else that you want to share that you're up to?
Thank you. No, I mean, I started posting on social media. I'm like a little bit of a spiritual freak. And it's funny because for, I guess, your listeners, I used to watch Kelsi's videos years ago when I don't even remember how old I was. This probably is close to when you started YouTube. But I remember watching your videos because I was always super into the paranormal stuff, and none of my friends really were into it on the same level that I was into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I turned to the internet and I found your videos, and I just remember being like, oh man, I wish I had friends that would, do paranormal investigations with me. So it's just funny how we ended up connecting years later.
I know.
But yeah.
I love that so much. We met. So when I was in Japan, Brittany's, one of her tarot card readings popped up on my For You page on TikTok. I usually don't watch them unless I feel called to. I'll have a feeling, and I felt something. So I was like, okay. So I started watching Brittany, and there were all these things. There was angel numbers that I really resonated with. And then you went into something about traveling and about losing people in your life. I don't know. It was something so just on point.
I swear I just saw an orb. I'm so sorry. I swear I just saw an orb go up on the screen. If you're recording the Zoom, but you probably won't see because you see it so clear on the camera.
Really?
Sorry, I totally interrupted you, but
no.
I wish.
That was probably Lola, honestly. Or there's a haunted painting next to me too. Got my trusty haunted painting. It was big.
That was huge. Sorry,
I got distracted. That's what she said. Oh my God. Goodness. No, we're so dumb. In a good way. We're funny. Funny dumb. We're really high. Maybe that's what I meant. So what is your intoxicated choice of the night?
Mary J.
Marijuana. That is also my intoxicated choice of the night. Just love the Mary J. She's been kind. She wasn't kind for a little bit there. I had some anxiety stuff, so I had to take a little break, but she's being kind today. How are you feeling?
That's what we like.
Yeah, we like that.
I'm feeling really good. I feel bad. I totally interrupted you before and cut off what you were saying.
That's what this podcast is about. We're just high as fuck. And if you interrupt, it's in my head, it's not interrupting. We're just living life. We're just saying what comes to mind. But I think I was just saying that how your tarot card resonated, your reading, and then I followed you, and then I realized you were already following me. So I was like, whoa, that's weird. And then we started messaging, and we started we did a Zoom or FaceTime or something, and we were just talking about the universe and life, and it led us to talking about Costa Rica, and I had happened to have this Costa Rica trip sponsored by a animal rescue center. And it was a vegan hotel, super, super awesome, Lands in Love. And it was the Animal Love Rescue Center. And it was just a beautiful experience. But I had that offer, and I was able to bring a +1. And I don't know, we just we're let's go. We booked our tickets and we met in Costa Rica.
And it's funny because I was actually, ever since like Christmas time, so around like the new year, I put out into the universe, I was like, I want to go to Costa Rica. I don't know why.
So
it was
crazy.
just somewhere I was really called to. And I had 2 other like opportunities to go to Costa Rica before we, like, I guess, got in touch like this last year. Both of those fell through. So it's just like so funny how like everything lined up, like kind of weird, but it was definitely divinely guided. And
Yes.
I feel like we'll talk about that later. But
It was
yeah.
weirdly divinely guided, if that's the best way I can explain it. Yeah, it was just like the most magical thing. And then after we talked about it, I went on YouTube to look up like because I'm, really into yoga recently. So I started doing a yoga, what's it called? Just class on YouTube. And the lady was like, join me from Costa Rica. It was all magical. She's all, join me. And I was like, we're going to join you in Costa Rica.
Oh my God. That's so funny. It just, yeah, we'll get into that later, but
Yeah.
It was weird. Like one of those things where we're like, oh my gosh, and that, and that, and that.
And
Really
yeah,
odd.
like this trip led me to enlightenment. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. I reached enlightenment fully. Like I thought I knew I was like knowledgeable before with the spiritual stuff and I was very in tune. But after that, it was just like, there was no doubt this is enlightenment. It was just the most profound experience ever. Like, I mean,
Yeah. I was there to like watch that, which was like really cool.
and then we freak out after. We'll explain that too.
Well, I feel like, yeah, we could get, I feel like I want to start talking about it, but we'll get into it after. But with enlightenment, like, I feel like you had a true awakening.
Yes.
Because we're always striving to reach enlightenment. And I feel like, I don't know if I will ever get there. But a true awakening is when kind of that feeling of just, it's like enlightenment in a way when you understand everything at such a deeper
Yes.
level. And it's like, unless you go through that, it's hard to explain what I'm trying to explain right now.
It's like, all and everything. And I mean, it is just profound. Like, it's just the most beautiful, scary, but amazing, just every emotion all at once kind of moments. Or this lasted a while. But I forgot what I was going to say. I'm really high. I was going to say enlightenment isn't just like you reach enlightenment and then you're done. Enlightenment is a whole journey within itself. So that's what I've been really, I've been reading things on enlightenment because I've just been I reached it and I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Like what now? So it's a long journey, a long process. And I think it's going to be a beautiful one though. I really, really, truly do.
It is. I'm like excited for you. It's going to be, yeah.
Yeah. I want to hear about like cause you kind of went through this awakening. I don't know what you want to call it, enlightenment, awakening, whatever this is. You went through it like a year or 2 ago, you said? Tell us more.
So it started, I guess, a couple years ago, like really more so last year, but it started, I guess, 2 years ago. I was really unhappy with just where I was at in life. Right. I hit rock bottom, like, so to speak. I mean, rock bottom looks different for everybody. Like, I'll say that.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know if I should say, I'm not going to get into too much detail and like, just like a trigger warning, I guess. Like, I was suicidal and that's not something that I really speak about with people, but I was at that point, like I was not happy. And like, when I tell you I didn't tell anybody about this, like nobody knew. The only person that knew was me. Like, I did not talk about this, and only recently have I been starting to open up about it because it's like very heavy, but that started it for me. And I made a choice at that time. And I was like, I'm sick of this. And I believed in manifestation. I believed in all of this stuff at the time, but I wasn't fully implementing it. So I started by changing my mindset, and I forced myself to change my mindset, and I asked the universe for help. And that last year, things were starting to get better. And then all of a sudden, this is now last year, my boyfriend breaks up with me, and everything I thought would be changed.
Right.
Everything I thought for my life. And this kind of pushed me on a trajectory into an awakening. And from that point, there was just a lot of inner work. A lot of things happened. Like, I was a teacher. I'm no longer a teacher. I quit my job. I'm doing tarot full time now. I moved. I'm about to move again because I'm about to live the nomad life. Like, when I tell you I jumped timelines, so to speak, I jumped timelines. And I realized that jumping timelines happens over a period of time. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's a misconception that a lot of people have.
Right.
But anyways, I could go on and on and on, but essentially that was the start of it for me. And the biggest thing was the breakup. So if you're going through a breakup right now, really be mindful of your perspective, because that breakup was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And it could be the best thing that's ever happened to you too.
Right. And it's so interesting because our journeys are so similar. Like, I was also suicidal, rock bottom, just like things, COVID hit, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I have a dream. I want to do this, but I was stuck, I loved my job. Like, I was a dance teacher, and I coached gymnastics, and I did like things that I did enjoy. Like, I was very, very grateful to have things that I did enjoy, but it wasn't what I wanted to do and what my calling was, So then I started diving into social media and working my ass off, posting a YouTube video every single day, and TikTok every single day. Like, I grinded, for a long time. And it's just so crazy. I also went through I guess a breakup, but it was with a good friend, someone I knew for years and years and half of my life. And it was this big breakup, and it really pushed me towards my spiritual journey. I was already tapped in and tuned in and spiritual, and I was diving into all of it. But that really, really pushed me into all of it and just made me, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go for the goal, go for my dreams, and just keep moving forward and push and work my ass off. And it's just crazy just to see where we are now after being so low. You know what I mean? At that low just energy or state of mind or whatever that was. We really climbed the ladder to the other parallel dimensions or whatever, whatever you want to call them. I mean, it's a long journey. A lot of people can relate to that though, for sure. Trauma definitely pushes things into a different perspective, and you really, really sit and evaluate life and where you're at and what you're doing and who's in your life and who you let in. And it's a lot.
Totally. Yeah. No, 100% it is a lot. And a lot of people that end up on the spiritual path often have a similar journey. There's their rock bottom, however that looks for them. And there's coming out of that. And, that's something else I could talk about. I'm really spiritual, for the listeners.
I love it.
That's why we're here on Earth. I mean, it's the polarity, right? That's why we're here. So many people view negative experiences as though it's the worst thing that could ever happen to them. But there is so much growth, soul growth that happens during the hard times. So we need that polarity here on Earth. So I don't really view negative things as negative. They're just more difficult experiences that we signed up for here.
Right. And did we
that's
sign
where
up?
we jump grades.
It's God damn, I signed up for this. Wow. But I'm so grateful. I think Earth is just such a big journey for your soul and your soul's growth. I mean, it is a hard planet to be on and to experience. And it's just we're doing it. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. It's like, I feel like we've won the lottery. You know, there's so many countless amounts of souls and beings and whatever that want to have this earth experience. And it's like winning the lottery. It's really hard to get here.
Yeah, I feel like I'm so grateful because, you know, we're a spirit having a human experience.
Yes.
We're not a human having a spiritual experience. So it's like, remember that, because when we do essentially go back home, it's this time right now is going to feel like it was nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So just always remember that, because
right. Always remember it. I wanted to go into some things about psychedelic research. So this is for educational purposes. Don't know what I got to say, but I've been like nervous to talk about psychedelics just because of like, I didn't know if you would get in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's so up and down right now. It is slowly being legalized, but then there's all these other podcasts and they all talk about it. And I'm like, okay, I want to start talking about it because it's not only changed my life, it's changed so many people's lives. And you too.
Mine too. Mine too.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I dealt with depression, severe anxiety, PTSD, just things that, you know, are so hard to deal with and to struggle with every day. But then like, as I started, like I was on an SSRI for like 5 years, you know, and like what has actually really helped me is like mushrooms, you know, or I don't know what to call it, psilocybin. I'm like scared to say the words.
Psilocybin, mushrooms.
Yeah, like the mushrooms, you know. I started microdosing. The shroomy boomies. I started shroomy doomies. I started like microdosing them, and they just have helped me so much with my anxiety, so much with depression, and just like, I don't know what, they just are so magical, like just so beyond magical. I'm like, I want to go into like the benefits too.
Yeah, totally. And like there's benefits to microdosing too. It's like you don't need to take, you know, a big dose where you do feel the effects, you know, because if that's something that, you know, is scary to you or whatever, like you shouldn't just do them because other people are doing them, but you can take them as, you know, a microdose, and it's been proven to help with depression and things like that. It's so beneficial for your health. Yes.
And it's so sad that they're like illegal. I just don't even understand. I think it's a lot with the pharmaceutical companies and the government and all those things, you know, there's a lot of factors with the economy and all that shit, but it's like, it helps people. And that's the most important thing, is that it really changes people's lives as long as you do it for the right reasons. And like, I feel like some people do it just as a party type thing. And I'm like, that's fun, but I feel like it really could have been more beneficial if you use it for, you know, your own self, your mental health, your spiritual journey, whatever is, if your intent is good, you know what I mean?
100%. Like personally, I've only ever done it in a very, I guess, like spiritual way, because I set out my intention, whatever that, you know, whatever it is. Normally it's just like, okay, what do you have to teach me this time? Because when I go into it, I mean, like what you've experienced, you learn things and understand things on a level, I believe, like on a level I've never experienced before. I believe it allows us to tap into parts of our brain that we normally wouldn't have access to. And it helps us reach enlightenment. Like that's why we're here, to remember who we were, and it's helping us get there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just so, I'm like, guys, you don't even understand like our recent experience. I think we're both kind of processing all of it too, or at least I am. I'm like trying to process all of it, but I wanted to go into some of the benefits like of psychedelics basically. So they have actually helped recover people from alcoholism, which is definitely, a hard sickness to have is alcohol addiction. I've had a lot of traumatic experiences with people who have issues with alcohol, and it does become an issue, and it's a big issue around the world. And it's so weird that alcohol is pushed on everyone when it does more harm than good. Like, it's aggressive, but people have been in Alcohol Anonymous trying to recover from alcohol addiction, and then they try psilocybin or other psychedelics that help them in a way that you can't get anywhere else. It just really, it helps you help yourself, who's helping yourself. I don't know how to explain it. Like, your consciousness, it's just, there's so much about the human consciousness that we do not understand, that science doesn't understand and cannot explain. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I could talk about like this is the human consciousness. It's just so
for hours.
Yeah, for hours. I mean, it's just the most profound thing, and it's so unknown, and it's beautiful, scary. It's all these things.
Yeah, we are all, like, I believe us, like, as a consciousness, like, we are all connected. We're all one. It's like, if you think of a big body of water and there being like little rivers, like going off the body of water, and then more rivers and more rivers till eventually you just have like a cup of water. I heard this analogy on TikTok, and it's one of the best ways I know to like explain it.
Yeah.
Source is that body of water, and we're that cup. So it seems as though we are individual because we are all our own cup of water, but we all come from the same place. Like, we are source, we are consciousness, we are all one.
Yes.
We could talk about this stuff for so long. Sorry,
like,
I'm going on another tangent.
No, it could be a whole other episode, like just talking about the human consciousness and its mysteries, because it's powerful. We don't realize how powerful our minds are. That could also be in an episode, just how powerful our minds are.
I could talk about
how we really create our own reality and we manifest things. And I mean, it's just so profound and so fucking powerful. It's fucking powerful.
You are powerful. Like I said, we're all source. That's how powerful you are.
Yep.
Sorry, keep going.
No, yeah. No, literally though. I just wanted to go into like a little bit more of the health benefits, because there was this video or article I read. I can't remember what it was, but it showed a schizophrenic person's brain and how the wires are disconnected. And then it showed studies using psychedelics, and these wires connected in the brain that were unable to connect. And they have used it for like Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, bipolar, just all these mental, I don't know what to call them, disorders or whatever you call them. It's helped people. I mean, things that are said to be uncurable. It's just crazy. I mean, it's so, I have the chills. Ugh.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Yeah. That's why, like, it literally lets you access certain part of, like, different parts of your brain that we normally don't have access to. Because on a daily basis, I forget what the percentage, but we only use a small portion of our brain.
Yeah, very, very small portion. Too small for some people. I'm just kidding. Well, some people are just freaking assholes. But it's also helped things like PTSD, which I had CPTSD it was flashback every day, nightmares, of the same traumatic things. And after I started dabbling in psychedelics, it went away. I mean, I haven't had a flashback. I haven't had a nightmare. It is gone. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. And it's just the most profound thing. Like, it's something that has consumed me for a long time, and to have it just like shown to me in a way that I could understand how irrelevant it is and how it's consuming me and how I'm not able, or I am able to like push it away so quickly. It was shown to me in that way, and it like just helped me, you know.
It like gave you a whole different perspective. You were able to see it in a completely new light.
Yeah, like,
and that's wild. And I've heard actually stories of it, like basically curing other people in like a dramatic way like that too, which is absolutely insane. Not saying that, you know, you'll do it and everyone will just be cured, because it's not like that for everybody, but I've heard stories similar to that.
Yes, for sure. Like, it is a journey. And if you do meditations, or if you choose to do the psychedelic route, or you choose to, you know, just make sure you're responsible with it. You're with people that are trustworthy, and you get it from a trustworthy person. You know what I mean? Like, just be really careful with it, because I'm not telling you guys to go do these things, but I just want to talk about it because it's just changed my life. And I feel like it's just so unknown, but like it's kind of being known, I guess, because the world's kind of having this mass awakening too. So like I've heard a lot more people talking about it online. So that's what made me comfortable and feel safe to talk about it.
Yeah, no, a lot more people are talking about it. I've talked about it on my podcast as well. And I agree with you and what you were saying, though. Like, you shouldn't just do it. It's fun to talk about. Like, my sister, for example, has never done it. Doesn't make her feel comfortable, but she loves hearing about the stories anyways, you know? Yeah. So only do it if you feel called to do it, you know? Don't just do it just because I feel like it's a beautiful experience, but mindset is very key. Yes. So it's like you almost need to be ready for it. So if you don't feel ready, that's okay.
Right.
But it's fun to talk about it and listen to the stories in the meantime.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people out there who are very open now. So that's funny because I have it pulled up and it's to trip or not to trip. It's like basically saying if you feel comfortable, if you feel called to, if you're doing it, you know, like it literally just like says what we're saying right now. Yeah, literally. We know that's just that intuitive thought right there. Are you ready to
tell me if I like get too spiritual? I'm ready to talk about it.
Brittany, you can't get too spiritual. No, that's not even a thing here.
Because I could go on and on and on.
Oh, me too. Like, I'm just freaking stoked because me and you could just go on and on about it. It's just, I definitely can. And I want to. And I want to talk about our experience we had in Costa Rica that led to this enlightenment that I had and this huge awakening. I mean, it was weird. It was just like every sign guided us to this place. We got like a little, what's it called? We got like a little Airbnb, like in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah.
And there was this, you know, like this place by us, and it had like the Eye of Horus on it, which is weird because I've been having a lot of like visions and things with Egyptian patterns. So that was I looked at it and I was like, that's really weird. Like, that's the Eye of Horus, you know? I was just like tripping out. And then I was talking about unicorns earlier on the trip. Like, I named our rafting team the Unicorns. And then there was a painting of a giant unicorn, you know, and like all these blue morpho butterflies around. And like, that's like another spiritual symbol for me. I mean, it was just like weird. So we went over there.
It was everywhere.
Yeah. And they happened to have like a healing program, or I don't even know what to call it, just a healing opportunity environment. I don't know, class. I don't know.
Yeah, she has like she does like sound healing. So she has like a big studio, like this place. It's literally an oasis.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Where she has, it's like beautiful. Yeah. And just the fact that we met her there too. And it's funny because you had all of those signs coming up too. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the Airbnb, I'm not going to say the address, but like a part of the address, I'm like, 95% sure there's a 222 in it, because
Really?
I remember back when we booked, I remember seeing that and being like, oh shit, like 222 is kind of one of my numbers.
Yeah.
But my biggest number is 333. And we were like in the middle of the jungle on like a mountain, and driving the turn up that mountain, there's like a number on like this sign, and the number ended in 3333, and threes are my number. So I was like, this is weird. Like, you were getting signs, I was getting signs. It was quite interesting.
Yeah. And it was like this beautiful, like where we went was this studio, and it was like a little hut in the middle of the jungle with toucans and monkeys. And I mean, it was just the most magical place ever. And she asked us, she looked at us and she was like, have you guys ever, tapped into mushrooms? And we were like, wait, that's weird, because we actually were thinking about that, whatever. And so we ended up doing this whole healing session. I don't even know what it was, just like we all took, we all took them, and she started playing the sound healing and stuff. And like, I started getting the visuals and all that. And then I don't know what happened. It was like spirit started taking over my body at one point. Like, I don't even know how to explain that. It was weird. Like, yeah. How would you explain how it felt? I mean, it was.
Yeah. So it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. But yeah, like, same thing happened to me. It was interesting because there was three of us. And just the fact that we were all thinking about doing psilocybin that same weekend, it was really weird that we even met her. And so we decided to do it together, and we did it in her space, like you were saying. And we all took a heavier dose.
I've never,
And oh my goodness.
Intense.
It's like, it was weird. It was like we performed a ritual, to be completely honest, like a sacred ritual. This is a beautiful ritual, but like, spirit was controlling me, spirit was controlling you, spirit was controlling her. And we all had different parts in this. Honestly, it felt like a ceremony, like a sacred ritual. And it felt very ancient to me. Like I felt like I was back in ancient times, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew what I needed to do. And spirit was moving me, and we all had different roles, and we all literally helped each other out in performing this. There was so much healing that happened, like the release that happened. I felt like I knew the both of you lifetimes ago, truly.
We all
and I know that you both felt the same way. It was really, really weird.
Yeah, no, we all remembered each other, and me and Brittany looked at each other and we said sister or something. We were like sister, and we gave each other a hug, and like I remembered you. And it sounds so weird, but like in that moment, I knew that like we were sisters, and that I felt like the other lady was my twin, Layla. Yeah.
It was so profound. Like, and I know that we sound crazy right now. I'm well aware
I know. This podcast is for open-minded people. So if you're not open-minded, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you here. Okay. We can't make this shit up. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I tried to explain it to my family and my boyfriend, and they won't understand. Left me speechless. They were like, okay, like they believe me, of course, but it's just something that if you were there, it was so profound, like we were hysterical. I mean, we were letting out so much trauma and so much emotion, and we were moving our hands like in certain ways, or spirit was moving our hands in certain ways in our bodies. And it was almost like a dance, like it just flowed. I mean, it was just crazy. And they started speaking and channeling through us too. And we were saying things that weren't us, but it was all love. It wasn't scary. I mean, it was beautiful. Like we were all just letting it happen. And we were just like, this is meant to happen. We were all led here.
And we were like helping each other out too. I just want to give an example so they kind of understand what we mean by that.
Yeah.
Cause like I said, we all had different parts. Like you were saying more things.
Yeah.
When I've done psilocybin in the past. I've had that as well, but this was different for me this time. It's like you are saying these certain things. And at one point, I'm a big feeler. I remember looking at you guys and being like, I am so tired. I was like, and I was so tired to the point where I could barely speak. Yeah. And they were like, okay, lie down. It's like, lie down. And I lay down, and all of a sudden spirit started moving my body.
Yeah.
Like I was moving down to my breath. Like the way I was breathing, it was like certain type of breath work that I am not familiar with. Yeah. I am not really a breath work practitioner, although I always say I should be doing more breath work. But I was like down to my breath work. It was very specific. And it's like, I just knew what I was doing, but it wasn't me. Spirit was leading me. And Layla was above me doing like it looked like some type of Reiki. I don't think it was Reiki, but it was like some type of energy work on me. And she was helping me. And when I tell you I was wailing. Yeah. So I just felt pain, like sadness, deep grief and sadness, which I did a tarot card reading before.
Yeah.
And it's like you guys, and the thing is you guys, like what you were saying, Kelsi, I remember some of the things you were saying, I needed to hear in that moment, and I'm getting chills. And Layla was helping move the energy through me, and I was just in deep grief and despair, and all I was focused on was the grief. Yeah. I was feeling everything. And then I remember you and Layla saying like, thank you to me. And I'm like,
no, we said both at like the same time, thank you for taking our pain. Like you were releasing our pain, and we both understood that. I mean, it was just like,
it's like and you guys helped me release it though, is my point. Yeah. Like, yeah, I was like,
I tilted your head back in a certain way. Yes. I knew it wasn't me doing it. Like I knew what to do, how to tilt your head back, how to run my hand up, let the energy, I mean, it was like,
I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
No, and I remember that moment. And I remember after that moment just being like, thank you, Kelsi, because something needed to be released, but my body needed to move. And Kelsi came, she was like, come, she like picked me up, turned me, like moved me around. I was on my knees. She like tilted, and this sounds like a way it's really not going, but you did something. You tilted my head back, and and you had your other hand like behind my head. You did something, and it released something out of me.
Yeah, and
like I needed that.
You were like, I knew you like. I don't even know how to explain it. I knew what to do. I knew that it was going to release something, and you needed it, and like it was just. And then it was, her turn, and we all took turns, and everything I saw, like, I don't even know how to explain everything that I was seeing around us. And I would look at Brittany, and I would look at her, and they would have eyes in the middle of their forehead, like a third eye, and it was open. And like, it didn't scare me. It was just like, what is this? Like, why am it was just crazy. And then I would look at the walls, and the walls were filled with specifically Egyptian people, like carvings, like what you see in Egypt carved into the walls was all around us, on the walls, on the ceiling, everywhere.
Do you know what I'm thinking right now is, and I'm going to look this up after this because I'm really curious. You know how like it felt like we were doing like a ritual, a sacred ritual, but I felt very, very ancient. I wonder if and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I kind of want to like look if there was any ceremonies or any type of ritual that they did.
And I swear if we find something like a video, I don't know, like, I believe it, and I don't even know why. Like, I do know why. I guess I was seeing all Egyptian around us, but then I would see eyeballs. Like there would be eyes around us. I don't know how to explain it. Like I've always drawn eyes since I was little. I've always had visions with eyes and dreams with eyes all around me. And they were everywhere. Like, I have the chills just thinking about it. They were all over. But you feel safe with them. They're not scary. They're not, it's just love. It's all just love and light. And it was just like so crazy. And there was a moment where, so it was really interesting because the woman we were with was channeling one of my guides. And I knew it, and she knew it, and she knew all these things that she could not have possibly known. All of these things. And it was only if she was my guide, she would know that. Like, that is how profound this was. And she put her arms out like a bird and looked at me, and she smiled, and she was like, you remember me. And she said, look around me, you see all of it? And that was when I saw the Egyptian everywhere. She said, you're going to remember. I have the chills right now. And during Kundalini yoga, I had a vision of this big, like, bird looking thing, but it had 3 eyes, like one big eye, then one on top, one on the bottom. And it surprised me during yoga. And like, I jumped and got out of, it was kind of like that heart drop moment where you see it. And I told Drew, I said, Drew, I think I'm going to meet her soon. Whoever I saw, I'm going to meet her. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, but I knew. And right when she put her arms up, I just like knew it was her. And I told her, I was like, I'm so sorry, you scared me. And she was like, I didn't mean to scare you. Like during Kundalini, she knew. And it was just like almost scary, but it was so beautiful. And she gave me all this guidance and light and helped with the healing and was just so beyond powerful. And it was changed my life. I mean, it just really, really did. Really changed my life. This whole thing.
Yeah.
Until and the end, then when I freaked out. We'll talk about that too.
I didn't, this time at least, I didn't get the visuals like you did. Like, it's like every time is different, really. But this time I didn't. But I really felt like there was a, like the spirit or spirits or whatever that were guiding us. I really felt a feminine energy. I remember saying, thank you, Mom, at one point.
It was a woman for sure.
It really felt feminine to me, which I've never felt that really strongly before, like on my journeys. Like there's been greater beings, but like this was divinely feminine.
Yes.
And that was like really overpowering. I felt really safe and nurtured.
Yeah.
Like I felt so safe the whole time.
Me too.
And there was something else that I was going to say, and I don't remember now what it was. It was something about what you said, but my ADHD brain. I forgot.
No, it's okay. You'll remember it. But I mean, I don't know if anyone's had an experience like this. If you have, like, comment down below. I mean, I don't expect you to have this as aggressive, but maybe. I mean, it's maybe. I don't know. I'm like,
I feel like if you have any like really spiritual like followers, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It depends how.
Yeah, but it was funny because near the end, there was just so much to it that we're just summarizing this whole experience in the best way we can. But after I started freaking out because I knew everything. I don't even know how to explain it, but everything.
Awakened.
I was awakened, enlightened. I knew all. And they kept saying, you are all knowing. This is all knowing. This is enlightenment. Like they were letting me know you have reached enlightenment. And it was a lot. I thought that, like in my brain, I thought that was it and that was my new life and that I was going to be like that forever, knowing all of these things, the walls with the Egyptian people on them, the eyes everywhere. Every time I would close my eyes, it would be like I was in this. I mean, there were all these patterns and there were all these things like eyes and like I would open them and then they wouldn't go away. And I thought it was going to be like that forever. So I started having like a panic attack. I was like, do you see this all the time? I thought Brittany like saw this all the time. Like I thought this was enlightenment and how you're supposed to live your life now. And like, you were like, yeah, like, cause you didn't understand what I was saying.
I thought you meant like, because you had like an awakening. I thought you meant like, I thought you were referring to that. So I was like, yes, but I totally misunderstood you.
No, yeah, it was, I just like freaked out and I called Drew and I was like, Drew, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm never going to be the same again. Like I'm going to see all, like I thought I was going to be like that for my whole life. And then it went away, but like I started vomiting out the anxiety I was feeling. Every time I would be fearful, I would vomit. Every time I would doubt it, I would vomit. Like it was I vomited for like 2 days. 2 days.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. I was there. I can verify this. She did. Yeah, but I knew it was good.
Yes.
Like, and same with Layla. We were like, yes.
Yeah, they were like, let it out. And I was just
like, this is good for you, that you're purging, you're getting rid of whatever you needed to get rid of.
Yes. And it got rid of it. And after, like, in between vomiting, I just felt like so light and so free and so happy. I mean, it was just like so beautiful to feel that someone who has crippling anxiety, you know, has these things that have really taken a toll on me, to feel that is just so, it's so beautiful to have that. And I would never take that back, like that whole experience, no matter what. It was just changed my whole outlook on life, on everything. Like, and I just got over my ascension sickness, which lasted like 5 days. I would wake up, my whole body would be tingling, and I was not doing so hot, but I knew it was going to pass. I was like, okay, my body's just adjusting to this new vibration that it's at. And things I don't know how else to explain.
It's so interesting to me because, like, I've never, like, and it's different for everybody. Awakening will look different for everybody.
Yes.
I didn't experience, I guess, like the sickness. Like, I don't know what, like, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like going through this experience with you, because I saw that light bulb moment in a way, you know, like a true, what I call a true awakening.
Yes.
Because it's like you think you're awakened until you're awakened. And it's like, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. And there's no rush to that. Everybody is here on their own journey. Remember that. And you'll find that when it's your time, when it's your time. So there's no rush. And whether you are or aren't, it doesn't make one person better than somebody else. Okay. Right. I just feel like the need to say that too. Yes, but going back to that,
and you can reach this through meditation, through other practices. Like, there's a lot of ways to reach this. It's not just our method, but this method definitely really, really aided in that for me. And like watching that happen, which was really freaking cool. Like, not gonna lie, it was like, I was like so happy. I remember looking at Layla and I was like, we're welcoming her to our side. And it was really like a beautiful moment. Truly, it was really, anyways. Yes. But watching that happen, and then like, you have been sick. So it's like, you know, I've heard people talk of ascension sickness before, and I'm thinking like, I guess I never really understood it because I never had it. Right. So it's just interesting because you were sick. Yeah. For a couple of days after this experience in particular. So, just interesting. Yeah. Just like a mental note in my head. My whole mindset just changed and shifted. And I mean, every day I just wake up and I'm so damn grateful to be here. And it's just like, I'll literally tear up right now, but it's like, I'm just so fucking grateful to be living and to be doing my thing and to this journey and that experience. I am just beyond grateful. And I'm so glad that we got to experience it together, because this will just tie us in a way. Divine.
Yeah, it was divinely led, like truly. Just the fact that we connected the way we connected online, like what are the chances? Yeah. Really, you know, like out of all the tarot readers on TikTok, like there's a lot of tarot readers out there, you know what I mean? The fact that I wanted to go to the Costa Rica, you had a trip already kind of available in a way, you know, and it's like, why would you bring me? You know, you could have brought Drew or anybody else. It was so divinely led. And it's like, ever since we officially met in person, like I remember we even had this conversation. I was like, before our mushroom experience, I remember saying like, you feel like my sister. Like that sounds weird, but it's like this, like, you felt like this comfortability that, And I said, like, you felt like my little sister because, you know, you're younger than me. That's what I meant by younger. But it's just really interesting because it's like, I didn't really know you, but it's like my soul knew you.
Yes.
And it's like this comfortability that normally you don't reach unless you know a person for a while.
Right.
So that in and of itself was kind of like, I remember being like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And then all of the signs and synchronicities meeting Layla.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Magical.
Crazy.
Just magical. And I was going to talk about, because I had a past life memory, not just of us, but of my life in Egypt. And I thought that was really interesting because I remembered being a person in power in Egypt, and I was so scared to have it. It was too much responsibility for me. I was freaking out, and I just knew I had to be like this pharaoh, or I don't even know. Like it was just the weirdest feeling. And it was like a memory. Like I remembered ancient Egypt, and I want to get more into ancient Egypt in the next episode of InTALKxicated. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please keep an open mind. That's all I ask. That's all we ask. Just keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys go check out Brittany's podcast. It is Para Not So Normal. I went on it too.
I think I'm going to.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be changing the name soon.
To Para.
Yeah. What do you think?
Para is so normal.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Well, it was Para Not So Normal.
Okay.
But my content, I do talk about some paranormal stuff, but most of it is about spirituality and consciousness. So I'm thinking of like exploring the beyond with Brittany, or going beyond with Brittany, something like that. Just I feel like it fits a little bit more. But right now it's Para Not So Normal. But but I might be changing it soon.
Okay.
So just, I don't know.
Rebrand. I'm excited to see it. Go follow Brittany on social media. Shout out all your socials.
I have YouTube. I post a bunch of free readings on there, pick a card readings. I have my podcast episodes on YouTube as well. My podcast is also available on Spotify, and you can also find me on Instagram. And probably my biggest one would be TikTok. And
it is Brittany Bento.
Right. Yeah. Brittany Bento, BrittanyBento. And then on my Instagram account, it's Brittany Bento with the number 3 at the end because somebody already had taken my name. So I had to add a 3 at the end of the Instagram one.
So frustrating.
And it's so frustrating, but there's 1,000,001 fake accounts out there of me, guys. So please be mindful of that. I will never reach out to you because it's a serious issue for me right now, like a bad issue. If you follow me, you might get scam accounts that try to reach out to you.
Same.
Know that is not me.
It's not us. It's not us, guys. We wouldn't do that. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever you're doing, and stay woke, everyone.